are literally a victim alongside those children in this situation.
I wonder if that would actually start to encourage women to be a little bit more responsible with their sexual activity.
You are not the father.
Tests should be performed after every birth, and fathers should not be expected to or guilted into.
He's not the father.
Raising the kid either way, so like why does it matter?
One night stand cannot be held for child support.
If you're a feminine man, it's just be okay raising children that are not yours biologically.
Listening to men cry about how much they do not ever take care of their own child.
Hey guys, welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to click that notification bell to be sure you get my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get right into this.
Brothers are pushing for mandatory paternity testing at birth. I get the feeling that women, of course, would probably not want that policy enacted.
No, I think that'd be great. I would support that 100% because
I would too. I think you're going to end up having to have security called at many a hospital. I'm just saying, it is what it is.
You know what? I wonder if, in my humble opinion, I wonder if that would actually start to encourage women to be a little bit more responsible with their sexual activity.
That's part of the issue. If there are no repercussions, what's in there to change the incentivized behavior? So if you know when the testing takes place, that might hopefully change how some people think about it. But either way, whether it changes how women think about it or not, men are saying before they sign the birth certificate, this should be a given, as men are reaching a point where they're tired of being told that regardless of the fact that they're not the biological father, they still have to pay child support because they've signed the birth certificate.
That's over said and done. And think about it. How could you make force a man to pay for a kid's not his? He's going through the turmoil of just finding out it's not his. You ever notice when you see Maury Povich and all these other shows, they say you are not the father.
Mr. G, you are not the father.
First thing you see the man do a lot of times, he'll cry. So now he cry, that means he feels emotional. This kid is not mine. Now I have to pay? Is that wrong?
Isaac, England, Mr. Kaiser, you are not the father.
See, the man, he's crushed, and you know what happens? A lot of times women feel like, oh, okay, it was just a one-night stand, it was a mistake.
It's not my fault.
But you didn't use any protection with that mistake. So you already had an idea. This probably wasn't the father. Is that wrong?
I'm probably going to get a lot of flack from women for this, but it's fine. Don't care. Until you've actually experienced what we experienced as a family last year, you will never understand where we're coming from. So shh. DNA testing needs to be made mandatory before any man signs a birth certificate. Plain and simple. There are far too many men out here who are being forced, because it is forced, they weren't given a choice.
Facts.
To take care of children who they never even fathered in the first place. The impact that falsified paternity has on men, as a woman, you will never understand. I will never understand, because it's not you that's going through it. But I can tell you, having watched this unfold in my eyes, that the impact is detrimental, and sometimes there's no coming back. And women are responsible for this, especially the ones that know full well that that man is not the father of their children, and they have not communicated that. Statistically, you cannot actually state how many men have experienced falsified paternity. Why is that? From an interpretivist perspective, the reason why you cannot actually pinpoint statistically how many men experience falsified paternity is because a lot of men hide in shame. They go through this trauma and this pain quietly because they have no one to talk to, no one that understands where they're coming from, and they're embarrassed because really, in your head, you're probably thinking, how could you have been such a fool?
She said it, and these guys are not fools, right? A lot of women have the ability to be extremely convincing, but also conniving. And that's why we have the situation now.
Pure evil.
How could you have been bamboozled? I'm here to tell you, I'm here to tell you that if you ever find yourself in that position as a man, look, you are not a fool and you are not whatever else you call yourself, okay? You are literally a victim alongside those children in this situation. And you see that woman, she's going to burn in hell. Nothing good ever comes from bad. Just remember that. A lot of people love to say that men's mental health matters, but does it really? Because if men's mental health really mattered, then we would have a wide variety of support groups available for men that have experienced falsified paternity. We seem to have a lot of support groups for single mums and a lot of support groups for mental health in general, but not support groups for men specifically who have experienced falsified paternity. The impact that has, yes, it is mental health, yeah, but the impact that has from a mental health perspective, sometimes it helps to have a group of people that have gone through the same thing where you can speak to each other and you can work through it together. But when I've Googled and I've searched high and low, I'm finding that access to such support groups is very much limited, which means that either men's mental health doesn't matter in that regard or not enough light is being shed on falsified paternity. Falsified paternity is something that needs to be made a crime, and fast, because the impact that this has on men is unbelievable. I watched it unfold.
Are not the father. You really thought you were?
Yes. I thought he was too.
And if you are ever in a position where you have to support someone that's going through falsified paternity, I'm telling you now, it's not easy.
I did everything. You know, take care of the boys, make sure they going to school.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I didn't sign anything because I wanted the DNA test first.
Mr. Jones, you are not the father.
I'm ready to go.
I'm sorry.
They never ever recover from it, all jokes aside. Women that do this, I'm telling you now, yeah, you're going to burn. You are going to burn. Yes, you are. Because if you don't do right by people, especially clean-hearted people that want to be fathers, don't worry. You think you got away with it. I come from a male-orientated household in the sense that there's only 6 female cousins in my family and the rest are all boys, okay? I have brothers and I'm the only girl child, and so...
Yeah, so she understands it.
Of course, anything to do with men is of a priority and concern to me, okay? Especially their mental health. If you're a woman and you find yourself in such a compromising situation, my advice to you is to do better, be more responsible, close your legs, raise your standards, and do a DNA test. It's that simple. Have a good day.
Yes, close your legs, raise your standards, and do a DNA test. Do a guy that justice, right? And what happens is the woman say, same thing with the video before this, right? Found out it wasn't his kid. The woman usually has an idea of whose father it was. I remember one day, last video I did like this. The woman said, oh, I know the father. And then the judge said, so then why did you put this man through this and let him go through this? And usually what they say is, because he can afford it. Sad.
So, I think it should be normal to DNA test after every birth. Oh, I don't care if you're married or have been living together for 10 or 20 years. Or if you had a sacred ceremony over a volcano.
She said over a volcano.
Where you pledged your lifelong loyalty to each other emotionally. DNA tests should be performed after every birth, and fathers should not be expected to or guilted into signing any form before biological...
Yes. I guess she sees it as well. And I love seeing this, right? A lot of women are not okay with this because they themselves probably know a woman. Not all, but you know what I'm saying. They probably know someone that knows someone. Like they're probably, 2 people removed from knowing someone that has fooled somebody with paternity tests. 30% of women are doing it. So out of 100 babies, 30% of those are not the father.
And you weren't dealing with anyone else during that time?
No, sir. My oldest son's father would come over to visit his son, and I think that kind of...
Got it. Gave that impression.
Yeah.
While I was at work, though. Kind of like.
And sometimes he would be there. He would go to the back room.
How often would he come over?
He would come like every other week or so, but sometimes he would be there. He would go to the back room and not sit up there, but then when he leaves, he'll come up there and try to
What
make
about
it seem
him
like
being there when you're, well, as long as he's there to pick your child up while your husband's working, y'all have a little small talk or talk about the child.
and sometimes he'll just go to the back room. He don't even sit in there with us.
Okay. And you swear you weren't dealing with anyone else?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, this indicates you're not telling the truth. He's not the father. Get away from me. Have a good day, folks.
I ain't got nothing to say. I'll be there for the child. I ain't got much to say. I don't have much to say. I'll be there for the child. I just say.
Not even right. I don't believe it's right.
You can't make this up.
I don't.
I'm just ready to go, man. I gotta go.
Now this here, guys, this has to be one of the most nonsensical interviews I've come across. And it's on their part. Take a look at this.
Like, I mean, there's people raising the kid either way, so like, why does it matter?
Who is that girl?
She said there's someone raising a kid either way, so why does it matter? The brain. My mother used to say this all the time. Somebody switched off her brain. What do you mean, why does it matter? It matters.
You are not. Because I'm just like saying well, let's just say, for instance, if it wasn't the man's child, shouldn't he have a right to know?
I mean, if he's going to a sperm bank and basically giving up the right not to know, being anonymous.
Well, no. Huh? No.
Like, why does it matter?
Going to a sperm bank? He was with the woman.
It comes down to a personal matter. If you're dating someone who's demanding a DNA test, then hopefully you would be the type of person to like give a DNA test. But if you're not, then that's a personal.
That was weird, man, especially weird. But it shows clearly that a lot of women truly don't care, especially the women that are doing it, right? So if you could sit there and look a man straight in his eyeballs and say you're the father and go along every day, and women do it for years, 10 years, 20 years, then it comes across to where the kid needs his surgery, is very important, and then all walls come crumbling down, and now the man is sad because the kid may pass, and then he's sad because it's not his kid, and then he's stuck and he's like, what do I do? But he raised the kid his whole life. Sad situation, man.
Women will never understand how it feels like to not know whether a child is theirs or not. So honestly, I think paternity tests should just be mandatory, because there's too many times where men experience the kid not being theirs. And at that point, it's like, we won't ever understand that feeling. We'll never even understand the doubt. So why shouldn't it be mandatory? That's something that it should be a right.
All right, don't scroll away, because I learned about another interesting law that's changing. Two of them, in fact. So the first one is that they are going to start mandating paternity tests at the time of birth for children. The reason why is when they do get maternity tests, turns out that 1/3 of the fathers are not the biological father. The other one is that they're going to be changing the child support laws so that if you can't collect child support unless it's from the biological father, and the biological father must have actually been a part of your life, meaning that a one-night stand cannot be held for child support. The person actually had to play a significant role in your life. So, I think the law is trying to incentivize that you stay loyal. Doesn't seem like a crazy change to me. What do you guys think about it?
Well, I think it's a smart push, right? But I respect what the man says. A lot of us already know those laws are coming down the pike. And yes, that should be the way, right? I feel most women should be responsible. That puts the revolution going on right now, the sexual revolution, to a halt, which is good. It needs to stop, right? We need to get back to the old school. But listen to what this lady says.
When they do get maternity tests.
Maternity test, you say? That's a hell of a thing. A maternity test doesn't determine who the father is. But you know what? I am all for this. I think we absolutely should do mandatory paternity tests.
So she's going off of the guy saying the name wrong. Of course you know what he means.
Tests for every baby born, ever. Because I, for one, am exhausted listening to men cry about how much they do not want to ever take care of their own child.
Mr. Benning, you are not.
Listening to men cry about how much they do not want to ever take care of their own child.
I've done everything that I do, and...
Do you know who Jermaine Jr.'s father is?
No, Your Honor.
Much less anyone else's. Because children suck. And man, these women just keep having them. All by themselves. Never taking accountability for all these kids they're coming up with.
It's not about women having them. It's about women lying on guys. And look at the disgust on her face. Look at her. You see that disgust? Like, what's wrong? Like, woman, how is it complaining? You haven't seen shows of men crying their eyes out? Look at Maury Povich show back in the days. I remember I used to see that as a kid. You sitting there watching that show, and I'm like, man. You know what I said to myself all the time? I seen that show when I was young. I know a lot of guys seen that show when they were young. And, you know, you're thinking as you're young, that's never going to happen to me. And then you get older and it happens. It's never happened to me, guys, but still. I feel for those guys it's happening to. And women, there's a lot of women, like the woman before with the other white lady, right? Oh, well, like it's nothing. Oh, well, the guy should raise the kids anyway. Like, huh? And now her is making it like it's not, like, come on now, stop it. If you got nothing good to say about it, just close your lips. Because there's men really struggling behind it. As the other woman stated, you don't find many support groups for men. Unless you have to pay for it. If a man wants any kind of support, he has to pay for it out of his pocket. But really, the woman should be paying for it. Right? That's why when those laws pass, where women are getting sued, it's going to be good.
Without a nowhere, with no sperm at all. All these women who can't keep their legs closed. But wait, don't keep your legs closed, because men need sex, my dear. So which is it? Do you need us to keep our legs closed? Or do you just want to control women, period, and our periods?
Who controls access, men or women?
Women.
Yeah, woman.
Yeah, so I would say hookup culture, if we want to see hookup culture stop, because women kind of control when it happens, so do you have anyone to blame but yourselves?
Women control birth. You control protection, right? You control childcare. You also control being able to have kids, right? There's so many different ways to keep yourself from having kids. There's no excuse. Now, you're going out there and being with random men, that's on you.
We talk to the feminine men. If you know you're a feminine man, you throw off a lot of feminine energy as a man, and this is just how you were born, by the way. There's nothing you can do about it. And you're taking care of children, and you care to only take care of children that are yours biologically, meaning it would bother you if you're taking care of children that are not yours biologically.
Of course!
I highly suggest that you take some time off and take paternity tests for your children, because one thing that women...
Why do you have to say feminine men? This has nothing to do with feminine men. They're always punching below the belt. Feminine men. These men should take paternity tests for their children.
Cannot respect is a feminine man. Women are not able to respect feminine men. If you are too nice, you're sweet, you're angelic, you love them too much, you do anything that they say, you are zero problems, they yell at you and then you cower because you don't want, I don't know, that's just how you are. There's nothing wrong with you, by the way, but they look at you, women will look at you and decide, okay, this man is good to take care of me, but not good enough. I don't want to bring forth his children, and they make it a point. You may, so if you're with a good woman, so they pity you, and they may decide, okay, I'll give this man at least one child. He's a good father. I will give him one child.
Stop it. Get some help.
But trust and believe, one of your children is not yours biologically, or all of them, by the way. Some women are that ruthless. Lakini pia wakikuangalia, they don't see what you could do about it, so they are fearless with it, and they will go and have children with ruthless men who, if they married them, would have mistreated them, who, if you left them, would not take care of these children who are theirs biologically. Sasa, maybe one thing that you can do if you're a feminine man is just be okay raising children that are not yours biologically.
I'm done. That's it. I'm out.
Because na kama hauniamini, you know who you're gonna check and believe this? There's this reality TV that is called Married to Medicine, and there's a lady there anaitwa Quad among many others. Okay, she was not so ruthless to have children that don't belong to this man, but what?
I'm getting tired of this. You see, guys, she's talking about all this feminine man, and she has to be the most masculine woman I've ever seen. You see that receding hairline? She looks like her name is Charles. What are you talking about? A feminine men talking about some alpha seed, beta need. Oh, you take care of these other men's children because you have no children. Stop it. Come on now.
What happens, these chicks who are nicer and hawataki kukufanya ule watoto sio wako, what they do is that they just say, I am not ready to have children. I have no intention of bringing children forth. They make it look like they are not interested in creating children. But some of them, mkiachana tu hivi, once you get a divorce, the next person they meet, they get pregnant within months.
What she said at the end was right, though. You know, a lot of times when women tell a guy, you know, they don't want to do that or have a baby, yeah, they usually leave the guy and get pregnant within months, or they go with the next guy and do what they said they wouldn't do. It's real, it happens. And I say to those men who are in those situations, just let it go. She wasn't meant for you anyway. She's for the streets. You can go out there and find a woman that's for you. You just have to have your wits up and have your guards up and make sure to keep your eyes peeled for anything that's wrong, for any red flags. Don't let any red flags go. You should be all right. But yeah, guys, thank y'all for watching. See y'all next video.